Hi Pathways Explorers, my name is Cameron Douglas, a teacher with the Kawartha Pioneers District School Board, and I'm pleased to be with you today to talk a little bit about calculating your ecological footprint. The program I like to use in my classroom is the Global Footprint Network, and it's going to ask you questions about the way you buy your food, the way you move around your city, the way you live in your home, some of the transportation choices you make. And based on that, it's going to calculate the land you actually need to support that kind of lifestyle. It hits pretty hard sometimes when we actually see what that number is, and then if you multiply out by the number of humans on the earth, you realize in fact that almost all of us in Canada, even the environmentally minded folks, are living way beyond the means of the planet to support our lifestyles. You'll notice when you do calculate your ecological footprint that they ask you questions about some of your eating habits. It's a perfect starting point. Reducing our ecological footprint is to think about the food, and in particular a few dimensions. One of them is meat, especially beef. It has an enormous impact on the amount of water that's required to grow the grains that then feed the cattle. It has enormous impacts on carbon, but it also has enormous impacts on biodiversity because we have to clear the forests and so on so that we can actually grow the grains to feed the cow. So perfect starting point, reduce the amount of meat you eat. Some of you need to come to school on a school bus, but perhaps you live maybe just close enough that you could ride your bike to school and back, or perhaps when you're thinking about going to your friends, take public transit instead of asking mom or dad for a ride in the car. Even these little bits make a difference, and they develop great habits as you move forward. Another big piece that we sometimes don't realize connects into our footprint is waste. It's a fantastic idea to look in your garbage and in your recycling when it's going out and look for opportunities to not only get more of your waste into the recycling, but better yet, look at all that stuff that's in your recycling bin, because all of that had to come from somewhere, either some trees or plastic, and it's going to take energy to recycle. So challenge your family to have less in your blue box. Shop at stores that you can take your own containers, or purposely avoid food products that are outrageously packaged with plastic and layers of paper, and go for the really simple packaging, small packaging that all can be recycled. Part of the ecological footprint is the amount of carbon that we're producing. That's another calculator, and certainly worth doing that, and it's going to ask you more detailed questions about your transportation and about the efficiency of your car, how you produce and consume energy at your house. It's a really excellent place to start to lower our carbon footprint. I think sometimes we forget that perhaps the most powerful thing you can do, and I'll set this as a challenge for all of you, is actually not anything directly about your own lifestyle, but is it helping our political leadership to make the right choices? They will make the right choices if they hear from enough of you that they need to make those choices. So you could advocate through a very simple letter. It could be even just one paragraph long. It has to be targeted to maybe your local councillor and mayor, or perhaps the local member of provincial parliament or the federal parliament, or all three, because all three governments have a role in this. If you go online, you can actually get some sample advocacy letters. It shows you how to structure your letter and how to put on the date and who you write it to, and you'll see it's actually quite simple to do. And you can actually write one of these letters start to finish in probably about 10 minutes once you know what you want to say. You send it off, you're probably going to get a reply, and then challenge those around you, because of course the more letters that arrive on the desks of these leaders, the more likely it is they're going to make those important positive decisions. A lovely place to start with your action and your response to your footprint would be to look in your own house and in your own school. Schools are big institutions. They consume enormous quantities of energy. There's lots of waste that are going out the back, lots of water coming in, lots of products that are coming into the school. And you could do a waste audit, look what's going out in your recycling and waste, and look for opportunities for changing the purchasing that's happening. You could do an energy audit by walking through and looking at habits of probably mostly adults who are either leaving lights on or not. You could talk to the custodian about some of the age and efficiency of the furnaces, and look for opportunities for saving water. Great spot there. You can work with your peers with that, perhaps with your teacher. You could challenge other classrooms to do the same, and see if you can get your school ecological footprint down, and then track it over time. And you can do the same in your house. Set your family a challenge to look at how much carbon we're producing in our driving each year and our flying, how much waste is going out to recycling, and you could maybe measure it 1 month, put in a bit of an action plan and the way you're purchasing and so on, and then measure it a month later and seeing how you're doing, and then set yourself a goal. A family conversation around this is really crucial. If it's not being talked about in your class, challenge your teacher to have a conversation about ecological footprint. Because at the end of the day, there's no simple solution to our ecological crisis. What's going to take is all of us to make the positive choices. All of those little pieces are going to add up to the bigger solution that we need. And at the end of the day, this is going to take all countries and all citizens setting a different course towards a sustainable future. So good luck with Landmark 24. I hope you have some good results and some good action, and we'll see you next time around.